Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's webinar. We will be discussing the Takeoff portion of our software platform today. This is a listen-only webinar, so you will not be able to ask questions through your phone. However, you can ask questions utilizing the chat window. We have moderators that will answer all your questions as I guide you through our application. If after this webinar you have further questions, please reach out to our account manager or our support team to schedule a one-on-one session. Just as a quick overview, we will cover the navigation basics of the application. When you log in to the application, you are immediately taken to the dashboard. The dashboard will show you important information such as bid totals for both monthly and weekly time periods, graphs that represent your bids due versus bids awarded, quick start buttons, and important information regarding releases that we make visible to you. On the left-hand side of the screen is your navigational menu. On the top, you will find Bid Management. This is the area that you will process all of your bids and takeoffs from. Next, if you are on your free trial or have subscribed to the estimating portion of the system, you will have the estimating menu. This is the area that you will be able to configure your parts and assemblies that you will later use in your takeoffs. We will be conducting a separate webinar on estimating independently. Next is User Management. Here's where you can add users and set permissions. Below Users, you will see System Tables. Inside this menu option, you will find your Company Master. This is where you can enter any companies you wish to track that you do business with. Right below System Tables is our Account and Licensing menu option. This will take you through a wizard, allowing you to enter your company information as well as set your subscription. And lastly, if you want to refer friends, family, or colleagues to the system, you can become a referral partner and earn some money for each account that subscribes. Now that we are done with the navigational menu, let's briefly review the dashboard before we cover today's topic. At the center portion of the screen, you will see two headlines, one that reads monthly and the other that reads weekly. These show statistics respective to their time period. For monthly, you will see how much storage you have utilized and how much you have remaining based off your subscription. Next is Shared Projects. Shared Projects is actually a hidden gem that is free for you to utilize. You can share your takeoffs with colleagues at no cost to them, and they can sign in and view them so you do not need to PDF or print them. On the dashboard, we are displaying how many projects you have shared for that month. On the right side of that, you will see your weekly stats, how many bids you have due and how many projects you have starting. These are controlled based off the data you enter in the bid management screen. The little arrows you see on the screen will appear in either green or red, and those indicate any changes from the previous week. On my screen, you can see I only have one bid due this week with a red arrow that says -1, which is indicating that I am down by one bid this week versus last week. Below those stats, we are seeing a monthly breakdown of our bids due versus bids awarded. All good information for you to visually see the health of your account. Immediately below the graphs are two large buttons, Create a New Project or View Sample Plan. I highly recommend, if this is your first time using a Takeoff application, view the sample plan first, and this will allow you to see how the takeoffs look when they are completed, as well as clickable videos that show you how to perform each of those actions. Below the buttons is our newsfeed. This is where we will show you general information about our releases with the dates they are done. The management screen can be accessed by clicking on the Bid Management menu option on the left-hand side of the screen. Once you are in the Bid Management screen, you will see a calendar appear along with several drop-downs at the top of the screen. The drop-downs at the top of the screen are used for quick navigational filters. For example, if I am bidding on a lot of bids for John Builder Construction and I only want to see those bids, I can select John Builder Construction from the company drop-down and then press Apply. You will see all the other bids not related to John Builder Construction disappear. To remove that filter, I would click the X next to the company name in the drop-down menu and select Apply again. The same principle holds true for the User drop-down menu. If you are a part of an organization that has multiple estimators using Square Takeoff, you can filter bids out by user the same way we did for the company. Bid management has three main views that allows you to see the data. The first view we're looking at right now is calendar view. The second view is list view. This list shows the same exact data as the calendar view, except it is shown inside a grid in a list format. The last option here at the top is our shared projects. If you recall earlier, I mentioned that you can share projects. However, if someone shares a project with you, this is the area that you will see it in. Now that we reviewed how the bid management screen works, we can go ahead and create a project or bid. At the top right-hand side, you will see a Create New Project button. Once you select that, a screen will appear. This is where you will fill out the bid information. You are only required to select three fields on the screen to quickly create a project: company name, owner, and project name. Company name by default will at least have your name or your company's name inside it. Remember, if you want to populate more companies, you can do so under the Company Master menu on the left-hand side of the screen. Now we select our company. In this case, I will select John Builder. Next, the owner of the project. If you are a single user of our application, it will be your name on this list. If you have multiple people, you will be able to select a project owner. Lastly, we will want to name this project. We encourage you to use names that are meaningful when naming these projects. After all, this is the name you will be seeing on the calendar and the list view. At this stage, you are ready to save the project. However, if you want to enter additional information, you can go back and do so. We highly encourage our users to enter as much information as they can, as it will allow you to stay highly organized. The project rating can be used for you to rate the project on a 5-star rating. You can use this at your own discretion based on your own parameters of what a 5-star project means to you. By default, the system will set the status of the project to new. However, you can change that by selecting the status dropdown. Bid due date and project start date are important. Earlier, we reviewed how these items impact the dashboard. This is where the dashboard gets that data. It is important for you to set the bid date to the date the bid is due. This way, you will get a notification on your dashboard showing what you have due in the current week. The project start date you may or may not have at the time of creating this project. In that case, you can set it to the bid due date and come back later if you win the bid and update it then. The Contact Information tab allows you to enter the contact details on the project. Pretty self-explanatory what information needs to be filled out here. Project Details contains just basic set of information regarding the project. Unit of measure that will be used, the color which you want to be displayed, the calendar, and most importantly, you can place what you believe the estimated project total is off your judgment and compare that to actual data when you are done performing the takeoff. Project Notes allows you to enter notes regarding the project as well as upload information about the project that is not the actual blueprint. For example, if you are doing a home remodel and you meet with your client, you may want to upload the spec sheet to go along with the job. Now that we have filled out our project information, we can save it. After pushing save, we are brought back to the bid management screen, and we can see our bid is located on the day that we set the bid due date to. I can select that bid now, and once I do, you will see a green button appear at the top right-hand corner of the screen that says Start Takeoff. Once I push this button, the system will see if I have uploaded a document or not. If not, it will prompt you to upload a document so you can begin your takeoff. You have the ability to click the Browse button and find the document you want to upload, or simply drag and drop the document into the box that says Drag Your Plans Here. Once your files are uploaded, we will hit Continue or Close. Based off how large your file is, the files may appear immediately in the takeoff screen, or may partially load while the remainder are uploaded. You can check on the status of your uploads by selecting the top right purple button with a little white bell in it. You will see how many files are in queue, how many are processing or converting, and how many are ready for you to work on. You do not need to wait for all the files to convert to start your takeoff. You can start working immediately while the file system converts the rest. If all of your files were not converted at the time of the takeoff screen is loaded, you do not need to leave the screen to reload your files. You have a little pink refresh icon located above that page that you can push and it will refresh the pages off your documents. Now that we are on the takeoff screen, let's review the basic navigation of this screen. At the top left-hand side of the screen, we see three icons labeled Area, Linear, and Count. These are the buttons that will activate the type of measurement that we are going to perform on the page that we are viewing. Before utilizing any of these three choices, the page needs to be scaled. The page scaling can happen via selecting a button at the top toolbar on the screen labeled Scale. When we select the scale option, we are able to then set the scale via imperial or metric measurements. For this webinar, I am going to utilize the imperial measurement. However, the process for metric is exactly the same. When selecting imperial, the system asks me to enter feet, inches, and fractions. For a measurement, I am going to match on the plan. I also have another option, which is to apply via page scale. This will use your traditional 1/4 inch equals a foot. However, keep in mind, this is not as accurate as scaling manually, as you are relying on the document to be in the right scale by the time it was sent to you. After filling out the scale value and pressing start, I will then draw along the line that I want to set my scale to. I click once at the starting point and then click again where I want to end the line. After setting the scale, I am now free to use the area, linear, or count tool on this page that I scaled. Let's say for this particular plan, I need to get the perimeter of the entire floor. I would select my linear tool. I will name this floor perimeter. Then I will set the linear type to standard linear, a width to 6 inches, and then whatever color I want to associate with this measurement. If I want to add a price per linear foot, I can do so here, and this will output a calculation for me of the total linear feet times the price. This is good, for example, if you're a person doing drywall and price out your work by linear feet. After setting these values, I will click Start and I can immediately start drawing my lines around the perimeter of this floor. If I want my lines to be straight, I can enable the Ortho tool feature, which is located under the Options menu at the top toolbar. You will see that once enabled, my line snaps straight down, allowing me to get a precise straight line. As I continue to click around the plan, you will notice that with the Ortho tool enabled, I do not need to be 100% on the point I want to click. And because the line is snapped straight, this allows me to quickly perform precision takeoffs without worrying on aligning to the exact point I want to click. Once I am done with my measurement for the perimeter, I will click on the Stop button located at the top toolbar. Now that I am done with the perimeter, let's say I want to get the total square foot of one of the rooms. I will click on my area tool and enter a name, standard area, and measurement color, just like before. If I want a price per square foot, I can enter it here. I press Start, and just like we did on the linear tool, we click the area that we want to measure. Once I am done, I will connect my last point back over to the first point, and that will complete my area measurement, and I can press Stop. You will notice now on the left menu, I have two measurements on there, one for the perimeter and one for the room square footage. Both tools are very simple to use. The same process holds true for our Count tool. This tool is often used if you do doors and windows or even electrical work. If I wanted to get a total door count, left-handed doors, right-handed doors, etc., I could use my count tool for this purpose. I will select Count at the top of the screen and then fill out the form as I did on my previous tools. The only difference is I can select the symbol that I want to appear where I click on the plan. In this case, I am going to do a door count and I want all the doors to show as stars on the plan when I click on them. Price per applies the same way it did on the previous tools. It will take how many times I place a count times the price that I am entering. For size, I want these to appear pretty large, so I am going to enter 20 for the value. You can enter any value you want depending on how big or small you want them to be. Once I have filled out the values, I can select Start, and just like before, I will click on the plan where my doors are. Once I am satisfied with the work, or I completed my counts, I can click on Stop. Now, on the left, I have 3 total measurements for the page. You can repeat this process as many times as you want until you are done with this particular page. Some additional options that will make your life easier that you can use when performing a takeoff. Let's start at the top toolbar under Options. Delete. This allows me to delete a particular measurement. To use this, I select the measurement on the plan and then select Delete. Cut, copy, and paste. These act just as they would in your favorite word processing application. It will allow me to cut, copy, or paste any measurement. Save as new item. This will take a measurement and duplicate it. This is useful if you work on a floor plan that has multiple rooms that are exactly the same, or if you are working on an apartment building and you have multiple units that are the same. You can take an entire measurement and duplicate it and move it to the new location. This tool prevents you from having to perform the same takeoff twice. Subtract from area. If you are doing an area measurement and you have a cutout that you need to do, instead of clicking around it, making your life harder, you can do your original takeoff as a square, then come back and select Subtract from Area, and then just do a smaller click around the area you want to cut out. Enable Ortho. We covered this one earlier. This will allow me to have my line snap to a straight line. Enable Label. This will show me the measurement of a current line as I am drawing it. Add Link. If you have used our sample plan, you have noticed that we have clickable areas that launch you to videos. Those were done with the Add Link option and would allow you to add a link to a website that you want open when someone clicks on your location you placed it on. All are pretty simple tools that you can apply to make your takeoffs faster to perform. Some other features I want to cover during this webinar are features pertaining to the page. If you look below the Area, Linear, and Count tools, you will see a series of smaller icons. These are icons you will use pretty often. If you have a plan that you uploaded and you need to add additional pages to it after the initial upload, you can do so by clicking on the plus sign icon. This will show you the same window that you used to do your initial upload. Select a file and simply upload it. The button on the right you will probably recognize from your phone as a GPS icon. This is our Google Maps integration. You can import any location via address and perform a takeoff live on the system. This is a very powerful tool if you are doing asphalt or concrete. For example, if I open this up and I enter an address, I will see that I am looking at a satellite photo of this location. I can move around and get it to where I want it to be and then select Export. This will drop this image in my Pages panel. The important thing is this is already scaled directly from the satellites, so there is no scaling needed. I can select my area tool, for example, and do any measurements instantly. The trash can. The trash can serves as a dual purpose. If I accidentally uploaded a page I want to delete, I can select the page and press the trash can button. This will delete the page from the plan after I type yes to confirm. If I want to delete an entire area, linear, or count takeoff, I can select it and it will prompt me to delete the measurement, and after typing yes, I can delete it. The printer icon will print either the current page or all pages based off my selection. The pinkish icon that has the circular double arrows will refresh the page content. This was the button that we discussed at the start of this webinar, where if your documents didn't finish uploading immediately and you wanted to start working on them, this will refresh your document screen and show you any newly added documents to the page's work area. The last two features I wanted to cover with you are located at the top toolbar. One is the ability to export this data. A lot of you will want to export your takeoff data to Excel or some other tool. You are able to do so via clicking the yellow export button on the toolbar. Once it comes up, I can select to show the measurements in my web browser or directly to Excel via selecting the file format. If I want to export all documents in my project or just this one page, I can select whichever by clicking on the appropriate button. When it exports, you will see all the measurements, colors, and if you entered a price per, it will show you the total value of that as well. Last, while it's not a feature, it is the most important thing that I want to cover. You are not just subscribing to a solution or software when you use Square Takeoff. You are subscribing to access our support team who are 100% committed to helping you answer any questions you have. This webinar is a good start for you to understand our system. However, it is important to have a company that is always right there to answer questions that you have. On your screen, you will see a button that says Help in yellow. When you click on this, it will take you to our online chat, which will connect you with an agent during our business hours. You can chat live on the screen, and if a phone call or screen share is needed, they will be able to do it right on the spot. This covers our takeoff topic for this webinar. If you are interested in learning or reviewing the system one-on-one with our account manager, now would be a good time to schedule that session. It's free and you have nothing to lose. If you want to attend our webinar on estimating, please go to squaretakeoff.com and look at our webinar schedule to see when the next estimating webinar will take place. Thank you for your time. Our moderators will stay on the chat for a few more minutes to answer any additional questions you may have or even get you scheduled for a one-on-one session.